Hello, welcome to Hook Legends, and thanks for watching today's video. I'm Henry, your host. Now, as many of you are aware that Hurricane Debbie passed through a couple days ago through the Florida area, and everything turned out great on my end. The storm ended up moving a little bit east, but as close as 15-20 miles away, there was some damage. But some of you wish me well throughout, that time, and I just wanted to let you know my family and friends, we all came out, just fine. Now, the topic of today's video, guys, is I want to talk to you about some issues that I was having with my Livescope and how it was lagging. And one thing I want to say is that before we jump into the details, as always, thanks to all of our subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to say everyone who posts comments and questions, I appreciate your support in doing that. I try to give an answer to each and every question, so there's several things, guys. I haven't decided if I'm just going to do some kind of talk video at one point. Actually, this is going to be a talk video if I can't get out here and fish. But at some point I may do a talk video. So some of the questions that you ask are a little bit, they're very good questions, but I can't answer them all sometimes in just 2 or 3 sentences. So I may follow up with some type of talk show where I address each one of your questions in a little bit more detail. But before we get into the details of this lagging issue, guys, gonna take a little few second break to acknowledge our sponsor, ACC Crappie Sticks, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's get started. I want to go ahead and jump right in. So, guys, as you are aware, for those of you who have been Hook Legends subscribers for a long time, I kind of started out with Livescope with the 93SV. And, the 3 components of a Livescope system includes your chart plotter. In that case, it was a 93SV. You're going to have the next thing, which is the black box, GLS10. And then you're going to have your transducer for it, which was the LVS32. So I bought that, and everything was great. Everything was fine, guys. I then upgraded to a 1222 chart plotter, and when I did that, I just started kind of having weird issues that kind of just really it just slowly degraded over time. Long story short is that I would be out fishing sometimes, and it took a while to figure out what was going on. I think the unit was overheating, and because in the winter time it seems like it didn't happen some days or at all, but then I noticed as the temperatures were warmer it would happen more often. Okay, so the 1222, I put in a ticket with the vendor, Garmin, and we did some troubleshooting and said, hey, well, maybe it's just a chart plotter. So they switched out. They actually sent me a replacement chart plotter, but everything was still the same, guys. The same problem. They said, well, maybe it's a local issue. Guys, I can't tell you the number of times I've upgraded batteries. I probably have a battery in that bass boat over there big enough to start a Caterpillar bulldozer. Okay, I upgraded my wiring system, switches. No matter what I did, the problem wouldn't go away. Okay, the problem just would not go away. So finally, pretty much out of frustration, guys, I say, look, there's only 3 components here. One of them been replaced, and keep in mind my head unit, the chart plotter, I use it in this pontoon boat that I'm sitting in now. I also use it over in that bass boat, interchangeable. Both of these boats have separate GLS10s and transducers on them, okay, for Livescope. So finally I say, look, in my mind that this can be only 1 or 2 other components. So I went ahead and purchased a GLS10 and an LVS34. They just didn't make a lot of sense for me to go and buy another GLS32, so I upgraded to the GLS34. And guys, as soon as I put it on there, problem disappeared. Now, one of the things I forgot to say is that, during the troubleshooting process, it appeared to be overheating. Garmin recommended that maybe I cover the unit with an umbrella, towel, cover, something to kind of help with the overheating problem. They also suggested maybe putting a fan on it to blow on it to keep the unit cool. I'll put some pictures up here. I actually have some vents. They suggested that the boxes or the compartments where you have your GLS10, if you could just maybe make sure it's vented so that area can get more airflow. So I complied and I did that also. But in the end, I replaced that GLS10 and the LVS32 with an LVS34. So it's been now, I'm guessing, a month and a half, maybe 2 months, guys. Time flies, I don't know. but I'm pretty convinced now that problem is gone. Okay, so my guess, even though I replaced the GLS10 and the LVS32, guys, I'm 5 to 99.9% sure that the problem was the LVS32. Now, to be even more specific about the LVS32, guys, I think probably most of your LVS32s are okay. Since I purchased Livescope a long time ago for both of these boats, my LVS32s were the older style transducers that had the, if you look at it, the cable was somewhat flat, had the 2 wires to go to it. And the newer LVS32s, I think, was when they went with that 1 round cable. And it's the same one that you find on the LVS34. So if you are having lagging issues, you could be getting some type of overheat or something. I won't say specifically why it failed, guys. I just know why. I know it did fail, and I could feel the unit and just felt like it was burning up. I also had a little gun. I wish I had it here, but I took it out of my fishing bag, and I could check the temperature on it. You know, most of these chart plotters, I think, is supposed to handle temperatures up to, I think, like 139 degrees, if I remember correctly. And this unit was getting up there, guys. It was getting up around, on the outside, when I would touch it, I think around 115, 120 if I was out in direct sunlight. So it was definitely getting warm, but it got to a point where the unit started feeling as warm as 100 degrees. Also, along the line, guys, I think it's AHRS. I'm not looking at it. I'm just going from memory here. The AHRS started acting up. I couldn't calibrate it. It wouldn't work. So I put it on the. I turned it off. So then you can go in and you can set your pitch. So I set my pitch, and I had, you know, did my fine tuning, and had good pictures coming back and everything. Then all of a sudden one day I looked at it, and when I looked out, you know, maybe 15-20 feet, it was kind of a rounded solid line out there, and it was just going downhill for me, guys. And so out of frustration, desperation, I needed to try to keep my videos being released, you know, about once a week. I just went ahead and bought the new GLS10 and the LVS34, and problem was solved. So, you know, just remember, if you're having any type of lagging issue, check your transducer. And you know, you can probably buy a new transducer for a whole lot less than what I spent on upgraded gauge wiring, multiple lithium batteries, exchanging chart plotter heads. I mean, the list goes on, guys, the things that I went to. And finally it came down to me just making a gut call on it and upgrading the equipment. So I think that's probably all I'm going to say on that particular subject. I'm not sure, guys, I'm not sure that if in this video, or if I'm going to do a separate video to walk back through my settings again. So because even though I did 2 videos, I think, where I went through my settings, one of them, my settings are probably distorted because my LVS32 was basically dying a slow death. Okay, and I was making compensation and adjustments and all of that stuff, you know. So since it was basically phasing out, I'm going to redo. I'm going to do another video now, since everything's resolved and fixed, and I now have my LVS34 pretty much dialed in. Screen looks great. I love that 34. And I just have to decide now if I'm going to go ahead and make the investment. One thing to remember, guys, is that your warranty only lasts for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, on the on your transducer. So by the time I went through and did all of this troubleshooting and trying this and trying that and upgrading this and upgrading that, by the time all of that was done, all of my transducers were out of warranty. So I pretty much had to go out and, at my expense, to replace it. Now, once again, I'm not really totally happy with the results, because I got to do the same thing with this boat over here. So I will need to go out and, you know, at my expense, purchase the LVS34. Because if I get in the bass boat now and go out there, if I'm out there for a few hours in the Florida heat, 90-something degree weather, it's only going to last 2 or 3 hours, you know. So that's one downside if you have multiple boats. You know, I can only imagine if I had 3 or 4, I would go bankrupt, guys, trying to just replace all these transducers. But, you know, it has been confirmed, you know. I don't think it's any surprise that there was probably a reason they went from that 2-wire cable to that round one. and it probably fixed a lot of problems. Probably fixed the problem that I was having, you know. So, but at the point in time I upgraded that one over there, I'll definitely do a video and let you know how that came out. So, you know, if you have any thoughts or any questions regarding this issue, you know, just post them down there in the comment section. But you know, I am aware that other people have had problems, maybe not this problem, but problems. So based on the problems you're having, take a look at your transducer and see which one it is, and you may be able to just upgrade your transducer and your problems might go away. So once again, I wanted to make this video short. This is pretty much just a talk video. As always, if you like these tips, if you like the information or the entertainment, guys, do me a favor right now. Please reach up, click subscribe and like, and make sure you click the notification bell so you will be alerted when future videos are released. Thanks for watching Hook Legends.